And well, good morning, Don Mafia. And I know exactly what you're thinking. Who the f is this guy? He sort of reminds me of this one dude who would give me above average Buffalo Bills content, but then he just decides to slack the f off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dan Mitchell. Once again, I know, I took a little bit of a break. Haven't uploaded since this past Thursday, I want to say. But realistically, I was just going on my annual birthday / 4th of July bender. Just kidding. I just really needed a break, guys. I really needed to spend some time with my girlfriend, with some family, and just sort of decompress. But you know what? Your boy is ready to make some content. There's definitely a lot of news that broke, while I was gone during my hiatus. And most notably, it had to do with the NFL preseason. Now, we all understand that the NFL and the NFL Players Association are in this massive game of tug of war where the NFL wants there to be 2 preseason games, and then the NFL Players Association is aiming for 0. Frankly, I could care less what they decide on. I hate the preseason. I think it's pointless. But that doesn't mean that it hurts some players in the Buffalo Bills that were relying on the preseason to show exactly what they had to offer. So in this video, I thought it was interesting since the Buffalo Bills are essentially going to have to make a 53-man roster, 55-man roster, based off of little in-game scenarios by some of their rookies and by some of their new guys. So I thought it would be interesting that we go ahead and we put together a way too early 55-man roster for the Buffalo Bills. Now, I do want to give a quick little disclaimer. I know that we've had a bunch of conversations about 53 to 55-man roster. I'm going to put the link in exactly what the NFLPA agreement said about the 55-man roster. It doesn't mean that the Bills can carry 55 players all at once. It means that they can bring up 2 players from the practice squad only twice throughout the entire season. So, say for example that, let's say Duke Williams is on the practice squad next year, then we are only eligible to bring him up for 2 games, a part of the 55-man roster, and if we want to bring him up again, then we need to sign him to an NFL contract. It's a clusterfuck, I know. But you know what? Without further ado, let's just dive into the quarterback room. Number 1, Sir Thickness, Josh Allen. He's a shoo-in for this team. QB1, really excited to see what he's going to do this year. Let's move on. Number 2, Matt Barkley. I know that he really didn't impress much last year, granted because Josh Allen was healthy for the most part, minus 1 quarter against the New England Patriots. I don't see Barkley being a long-term backup. In fact, I'm pretty sure that he's on his last year of his contract, so be on the lookout for the next name on the list. Third player to make the 55-man / 53-man roster, that is going to be Jake Fromm. So one thing I will say about Jake Fromm is that he is one of the 2 players on this 55-man list that I think he's going to be on the practice squad, but he's going to be utilized and brought up at least twice next year in case, God forbid, knock on wood, don't wish that evil on me, son, Josh Allen goes down. But I think Jake Fromm is going to be one of those guys that is brought up to the team twice, so that way he's ineligible for hitting waivers afterwards. So I think Jake Fromm is going to be the 3rd quarterback. We're going to carry 3 quarterbacks on this team this year. So now it gets interesting. Now it comes down to the running back room. Let's go on ahead. Let's just knock out the first 2. Super easy. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. In my opinion, those 2 are an absolute shoo-in for the roster. And then, of course, you have Pat DeMarco. I know that we ended up picking up a rookie fullback, or maybe it was a free agent fullback, much younger. But I also see DeMarco going on ahead and filling in that spot. So now it comes to a very interesting question. Who is going to be the 4th running back? Last year, the Buffalo Bills, I believe they carried 4 last year, and the majority of them were healthy scratches, right? So it's going to be a question, right? Is it Christian Wade? Is it TJ Yeldon? Is it some of the other rookies we ended up picking up? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to go with the 7th spot on the 55-man roster is going to be TJ Yeldon. I know a lot of you are probably going to be like, Dan, what the hell, dude? He's going to be cut. Well, ladies and gentlemen, out of all of the other running backs that are on our current depth chart prior to training camp and the preseason, TJ Yeldon is the only running back that actually has demonstrated some type of production in an NFL setting. You look at the other guys that are on our depth chart at this point, they're largely unproven. And in my opinion, last year, Yeldon was largely underutilized. And so he's a fantastic pass catching back. And I think that TJ Yeldon is going to be the 7th player on the 55-man roster. Now it comes down to the wide receiver room. I've already done a video on this, so I'm not really going to spend a lot of time on it. Number 8, Stephon Diggs, obviously. Number 9, John Brown, obviously. 10, Cole Beasley. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, obviously. Gabe Davis hits 11. And then this is where it gets interesting, right? Number 12 is going to be Isaiah McKenzie. I know that a lot of people, they would much rather see like an Isaiah Hodgins on this team or a Duke Williams on this team rather than Isaiah McKenzie. But Isaiah McKenzie is actually a very talented player. Those jet sweeps really put a interesting twist to our offensive scheme this year. I think that McDermott and I think that Dable like Isaiah McKenzie, so that's why I'm picking that he hits the 12 spot. Number 13 is Andre Roberts. I mean, you really can't cut or you really can't allow Andre Roberts to be a part of this team. You can't not. That's my 7th grade English teacher is going to slap me in the face for saying that. Dude, man, is a Pro Bowl kick returner. He's going to have to take the spot. And that right there, that's going to be 6 wide receivers. But in my opinion, I have a feeling that the Bills are going to be going with 7 this year. So now it comes down to who's he going to be? Is he going to be Duke Williams? Is he going to be Isaiah Hodgins? Is he going to be Nick Easley? Probably not Nick Easley. But I ended up putting down Duke Williams. In my opinion, this was a toss-up between him and Isaiah Hodgins. I think that with there being a very unorthodox offseason, specifically with training camp, there's going to be no preseason games, more likely than not. I think this is going to help Duke Williams just because he's been able to demonstrate some type of chemistry with the team that is going into 2020 already. So since there aren't really going to be any preseason games, I'm leaning a bit closer to the Duke Williams train of him making that 7th spot for the wide receiver room. Next room is the tight end room. Let's just definitely go with the first 3. I mean, number 15 is Dawson Knox. 16 is Tyler Kroft. Well, a lot of us weren't too impressed with him last year because he was injured on and off. He did end up restructuring his deal, so it looks like that he is here to stay. Hopefully, he'll be able to live up to the hype that he did last year. Tommy Sweeney, I really like him. I really think that he was underrated. He's going to be 17. And then number 18, the penalty machine himself, Lee Smith. I know I'm not too excited about this either, ladies and gentlemen, but at the end of the day, he's a great presence in the locker room, and he's actually a very, very good blocking tight end. So he's going to take the 18th spot. So now it gets down into the offensive line. If there is anywhere on the roster that needs depth, it is the offensive line. So let's go on ahead. Let's just run through these real quick. 19, Mitch Morse. He was the highest paid center last year in 2020. I'm not sure if somebody ended up eclipsing him, but I really want to see a lot more out of him. I didn't think that he lived up to the hype. But he's going to grab the 19th spot. Number 20, Deion Dawkins, right? Mr. Snowman. He's about due an extension at some point. I'm not sure whether or not that it's going to happen this year or the following year. But he's the man for now. He's gonna claim number 20. Number 21 is John Feliciano. Number 22 is Cody Ford. Number 23 is Tyan Secchi. 24, Quentin Spain. 25, Ryan Bates. 26, Ike Bodiger. 27, Garrett McGinn. And 28, Darrell Williams. Now, Darrell Williams, in my opinion, is a very interesting pick. Dude, man, of course, played for Carolina, and he ended up having like close to a Pro Bowl season back in 2016, 2017. I'm hoping that he'll be able to go on ahead and sort of re-spark or sort of get like a late career rally and sort of really end up beefing up our offensive line. Let me know what you think there. Next is going to be defensive line. This is going to be interesting, but number 29, I have Jerry Hughes. 30, I have Ed Oliver. 31, I have Starr. 32, I have Epinesa. 33, Mario Addison. 34, Quentin Jefferson. 35, Vernon Butler. 36, Harrison Phillips, who, dude, man's excited to see what he can do this year after coming off of that injury. And then number 37, Trent Murphy. I know a lot of people are thinking I'm going insane for putting Trent Murphy on this team. I don't know. I just don't think that we have like another powerhouse defensive end. I mean, with Epinesa, he's not proven yet. He's a rookie. I think that cutting Trent Murphy really doesn't make a lot of sense. Not unless we wanted to add some extra beef so we can make a trade for Yannick Ngakoue or something like that. But as of now, I have the 37th spot on the 55-man roster as Trent Murphy. All right, next is the linebacker room, baby. The majority of these are pretty easy. 38, Edmonds, obviously. 39th spot, Matt Milano, who I think we need to extend as soon as humanly possible. 40, Mr. AJ Klein, coming out of New Orleans. 41, Tyler Matakovich. He's not going to be like a starting linebacker. If anything, it's going to be depth. He's amazing on special teams. I think that he's going to do wonders for Buffalo on the special teams area. 42, Voshon Joseph. I really want to see this dude play, man. I really want to see this dude play. He might be like the biggest sleeper on the Buffalo Bills this year, in my opinion. And then 43, Corey Thompson, because he definitely ended up playing a very specific role on special teams last year and really came in the clutch when there were certain situations out there. The cornerback room, this is also relatively controversial, but this is where I'm at. Number 44, Trey White. 45, Josh Norman. You've heard me scream this from the rooftops. Dude, man's going to revive his career this year. 46, Levi Wallace. He's making the team, hands down, no question. 47, Taron Johnson. Great slot corner. There's absolutely no way he's not making this team. And then number 48, for the third time in his career, he will be on the Buffalo Bills 53/55-man roster. That's EJ Gaines. I know there's going to be a lot of people asking me, Dan, what about Dane Jackson, etc., etc. If there was a preseason, and then maybe you could make the argument. But like I said, guys, there's no preseason this year, and I have a feeling that McDermott's going to be going people that have already demonstrated chemistry with the team or are familiar with this system already and have experience. That's why I have EJ Gaines making the team instead of Dane Jackson. Number 49 is Micah Hyde. Number 50, Jordan Poyer. 51, Dean Marlowe. And 52, Sierra Neal. There's legitimately nothing has changed from last year in 2019. The safety room is going to look exactly like that. Marlowe and Neal do a fantastic job on special teams. And now it goes into special teams. Last but not least, 53, Tyler Bass. I do. Hoshka, Hosh money. I love you. I love everything you've done for the city of Buffalo. But I'm seeing Tyler Bass take your job this year, man. It doesn't matter if there's no preseason whatsoever. I think that Tyler Bass is going to be our kicker this year. 54, the putter. This was a toss-up. And so was it Bojo or was it Vedvik? He was the kicker that absolutely shanked it during that first game last year against the Jets, and the Jets accordingly cut him right afterwards. I believe so, at least. I think that Bojo is going to make it just based off of his experience with the team, not unless Vedvik absolutely blows up in training camp and shows McDermott that he's the guy. I'm having Bojo make the team. And then 55, last but not least, Reed Ferguson. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my 55-man roster. Like I said, there's a couple of names like Fromm. I have a feeling he's going to be one of those guys that's just going to be brought up once or twice, so he's not eligible to hit waivers, especially since Matt Barkley is most likely on his last year with the Buffalo Bills. And then there's probably one person I think on the offensive line that we're going to maybe bring up once or twice, like Garrett McGinn or something. But, I mean, for now, that's going to be my 55-man roster. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. What would you have done differently? What room would look different from your perspective than mine? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in to yet another edition of the Don Mafia Report. And above all else, let's go Buffalo.